Welcome to Magnificent Mogul. Thank you for visiting. My name is Daymond E. Lavine, and I'm sitting here with Mr. Jay Veal, CEO of Inc. Tutoring.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the interview. I really appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me here.
For those of you who don't know, Mr. Jay Veal is dedicated to tutoring, and that's something that really, hits my heart. And when I was in college, I was a tutor as well, and I have experience doing that, and I think he's doing something great for our youth. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about having Mr. Jay Veal here with me today to be my very first interview on magnificentmogul.com. So, Mr. Jay Veal, how would you define entrepreneur?
Okay, so an entrepreneur is somebody who actually takes a passion and turns it into profit. It's something they love to do that they've been thinking about for quite a long time, whether or not they've been in the workforce for a while, or if they've been actually working from home, doing things, or just evangelizing a concept and turning it into something that they can earn a living from.
Good.
So that's my definition.
What are your current entrepreneurial efforts? Is it just Inc., or do you have other things going with Inc. Tutoring?
I'm kind of looking into a few different things. I've been doing Inc. Tutoring for about 3 years on the part-time level now. I'm moving into full-time transition in a couple months. So that's going to be awesome and phenomenal.
Yeah,
but we're looking at doing like a learning management system in the future, to where we can take things that we're doing with INC tutoring and put them online.
Oh, okay.
And so our clientele can actually go onto those particular systems and learn things that they may not have learned in tutoring. They can expand their knowledge and then place an online learning scenario. Like if you're looking at online type of things, like MIT has a thing that they do online for OpenCourseWare. We're kind of doing that kind of concept, but for the tutoring scenario. I'm doing that. Also in the organization, we're looking into doing things with apps, and also at the same point in time, looking into some house type of things. So that's going to be kind of interesting. But in terms of just the educational sector, that's what we're looking at.
So pretty much adding innovation to the tutoring that you already currently have going on.
Correct. So kind of a layer or two.
Good. Okay. Growth. So I have been following you on Facebook, and I know that Inc. is gaining momentum really fast, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Why are you particularly dedicated to tutoring?
Okay, so with the tutoring perspective, I've seen throughout the years, and being an educator and also being in education, that as a nation, even here in Texas, we're kind of faltering behind in the math and sciences and the STEM field. So my solution for that was to start an organization, start a company where we're dealing with that particular scenario every day, right? Where kids are not doing well, or college kids are not doing well, or even adult learners are not doing well in math, sciences, technology, or engineering. So I wanted to kind of dedicate myself to that as a calling. I've been called to do that for quite a few years. I started my path in 2008. So now coming to 2015, that was just a vision of mine to dedicate the organization and myself to build a legacy with tutoring and other endeavors. So, when I'm gone, I have something to leave behind, whoever comes next.
Right. Good answer.
So that's why I'm definitely dedicated to this, to bring not only our normal clientele, to higher greatness, right, in academics and academia, but our minority students out there. The statistics are looking rather glim in terms of how the achievement gap has widened throughout the years between non-minority and minority. So our job is to kind of try and fix that and see that our students can achieve the same level of greatness as anybody else can. So that's what I'm dedicated to.
What I've noticed is that over the years, students aren't as dedicated to education as, say, I was when I was a child. We have so many things like, mobile apps, this celebrity chasing lifestyle that everybody is after now, reality shows. With all of those things going on in the media, would you say that has challenged you in what you're currently trying to do with Inc. Tutoring? Do you face any challenges because of those things?
I'm thinking maybe the focus of some of that, some of the media has maybe did somewhat of a, I wouldn't say necessarily a disservice, but but it has taken away some of the focus of the kids and the students that come to us from focusing on their academics like they should be, right? So the parents are not as aware as they maybe would be if their kids were telling them, hey, here's what I'm working on, here's what we're doing in school, because they're so focused on type of media things. However, I think the better question on that part is how we've changed the focus from the parents dealing with the students to versus what the media is doing, right? Okay. We don't have our students are not having the parental engagement that is needed. So versus media and parental engagement, I think the parental engagement is more of what's detracting some of the students from getting the tutoring that they need. So they have to go out and seek the best tutoring, right? Okay. You know, Johnny's outside doing his homework and he doesn't necessarily tell his mom or his dad where he's struggling. Right. They're not going to know. Or if they're not, you know, they're willing to pay for Jordans or pay for shoes, but they're not willing to pay for tutoring, right? Those are the kind of things that detract our particular population to not, you know, be as great and dedicated to education as we should be. Right. But those detractors are things that we try and work with the parents on, PTA, school, things of that nature, so we can have that refocus. Okay. And the students can get better in achieving that the excellence that they need to achieve. So. Okay, so your scope for Inc. is more than tutoring. Your scope is larger. You actually interface with the parents and the faculty at the schools and so forth. Absolutely, and you know, getting a chance to get into the PTO meetings at some of the schools to say, hey, there is another option. Because a lot of folks out there, you know, for the listeners and the viewers out there, did not know there was a minority option in tutoring at all. Right. So when we came along to let them know that, hey, we achieved this level of greatness for our students, this is what's going on. You know what I mean? But interface it with the parents, some of the teachers, that we have a holistic type of thing and a holistic solution to where everybody is involved in this scenario to make sure that the student gets what they need. That's very good. So we're speaking of challenges, and I guess my next question is, what has been your most difficult challenge? Being that you have so many interfaces, I'm sure you've gone through a lot. So what has been your most difficult challenge, and how did you overcome that challenge? Okay, I say one of the most difficult challenges, there were quite a few, but one of the difficult challenges in the beginning was trying to get out there to the media. Right? Okay. How do we get people to really see the great things that are happening in the education sector for the tutoring side of the house, right? Okay. How do we build the brand? How do we make sure that folks are aware of kind of how to take advantage of those scenarios, right? So going through time when I first started knocking on doors by myself, right? You know, how do I get this out to the public? How do we get them? How does INC become somewhat of a household name in tutoring, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I had to kind of go out and say, hey, well, what does my market look like? What do the clientele look like? What do these students look like? And really study kind of what they're interested in. Okay. And then once you kind of do that, it took a while to kind of garner some people from different organizations, like your big box stores, right? Silver and Kumon and things of that nature, or Magnesium. So how do we compete against those individuals? Well, we had to create a tailored solution that was more prescriptive to the student, right? It's more holistic in nature to dealing with the parent, dealing with the teacher, dealing with the community, and dealing with the academics and the materials and resources, right? So then comes us, the tutoring organization, coming in to fix the problem, where we're delivering the solution, you know, for the students getting from F's to A's, or from D's to B's, or whatever the case may be, in regular timing. So being the fact that they may, the challenge was then to get more visibility. And as you've seen, of course, through social media and other avenues, we've been able to garner momentum that way, and be able to have a trusted source saying, hey, these are the results that they get, here are the testimonials that people see, this is why they're what they are at this moment. All right. So that challenge in the media was to get more media attention that way was a challenge, but the even bigger challenge, of course, is to we've experienced scenarios where the parents are not as easygoing to get that service. So we have to make sure that when we're telling them these things, we're telling them the whys, the what, and the how. Okay. And being able to articulate that to the parents is something that takes a little bit of practice. To make sure that we get that from them. So practice makes perfect, and put yourself out there, make it happen, basically. So we're not going to just focus on the negative. I'd also like for you to tell us, what was your proudest moment with Inc. Okay. I think the proudest moment or moment, if you will, is seeing the client's successes. At the end of the day, any business is not really about you, it's the clientele you serve and the community that you serve. So seeing repeating scenarios of students coming in and saying, hey, I'm getting a D right now, and I'm not failing at math, or I'm failing at science, or whatever the subject may be, I'm not doing well. Us coming in within 4 weeks of saying, hey, now you've gained the confidence, right? Gaining the confidence within that particular student, saying, hey, I can do this now. I actually like this subject. I hated it before I came here, right? Being able to see that transition is a major success for us. It's like a win, if you will, and transitioning that win for the student now to these grades and the accelerated momentum of them being able to take the knowledge that they know and be able to disseminate that to other students is a great thing and a great success, I think, that we've seen in our organization. Because of us doing that many times, right? When we had the opportunity to be featured in Black Enterprise magazine, I think was a pretty proud moment, because we've actually have been looking at that, saying, hey, we see all these great entrepreneurs doing things in Black Enterprise and in Forbes and all that. How do we get in there? How do we actually be able to affect change and let people know this is what's going on? And when we got that email that stated, hey, they want to interview you guys about what you're doing for the community in education and for tutoring, I was pretty happy about that.
That's
so
awesome.
The biggest one so far.
So Black Enterprise, smile on kids' faces. I don't know what's the best.
Absolutely.
So if you're anything like me, you have these personal phrases that you constantly repeat in the back of your mind. I mean, I have my own personal mantras that I have, and sometimes I put them out there on social media. What is that one mantra that you have that gets you through 90% of the negative situations that you encounter?
I would say one major one is in order to conduct the orchestra, right, you must turn your back on the crowd. So what that kind of entails is more so about to do your business and to really keep a laser focused vision. Sometimes you have to let the negative influences get out of your head, right? You have to turn your back on those, and those people that are not influencing you in the positive direction and the way you want to go, and then have the same vision to help you out in terms of support. Those type of situations need to get out, and the positive ones need to come in. It deals with focus and being able to say, hey, all the external factors out there, I can't deal with those right now. I gotta focus on the prize and get things done. But at the same point in time, being an entrepreneur and trying to be a success is late hours. You know what I mean? You have to focus. You have to persist, and make your vision come to fruition by putting in the work. Folks always think that it's all glamorous to be an entrepreneur, all glamorous to be a football player in sports, whatever the case may be. It's not glamorous. It's hard work and dedication. You're gonna have up days, you're gonna have down days, but you need to realize that when you fall, you may fall hard, but at the time when you come get back up, that next try that you give at it may be the one that takes you to the next venture capitalist or something like that. So, I'd say those are my two things I would say are good mantras to kind of live by in business and in life at the same time.
Oh, okay, cool. Who are your influences in life right now when it comes to entrepreneurialism?
I would say those that I look up to are individuals like, your Warren Buffett, right? I wish I was able to actually wrap up Warren Buffett.
Don't we all?
But Warren Buffett, awesome. You have your Mark Zuckerberg, but in addition to that, Jeff Bezos, who's actually heading Amazon, right?
Right.
I think there was actually a recent scenario that happened with Amazon, but the organization and how he's taken it from where it was in the past to where it is now in terms of not only revenue, but just the organization as a whole and culture, I think is a good example to kind of look after in terms of being an entrepreneur. But at the same point in time, I kind of want to take back the role model to even my own parents. Because I started years ago, and my mom actually, Gloria, she helps me out with the organization as my communications program manager for INC Tutoring. So She has a international business MBA, executive MBA. So using that knowledge that she has in business to be able to assist our organization in doing great things has been a great moment to be able to have that kind of support. They taught me a lot of things about the financial world when I was younger. They taught me about being great at academics and be able to have a degree and something to fall back on at the end of the day. So those are my parents would be a straight motivator for how I got to where I got to at this point in time. Both my mom and my dad. I was raised more strict in an environment in the military, so they are pretty much my motivators.
Oh, good.
Look up to them.
For other people who are out there trying to start their own business or engage in entrepreneurialism in some way, form, or fashion, what do you want to tell to them?
Those of you guys out there that want to start your own business and are moving from the path of maybe corporate world to being an entrepreneur, the main thing I want to say is don't give up. I know it's kind of overly used term, but there are going to be times where you say to yourself, did I really make the right decision? Did I really transition from corporate to entrepreneur and do it the right way? Definitely, if you're gonna go into being an entrepreneur, work that job that you have, save up enough money and enough knowledge to where you do jump that ship and you can be successful and not sink versus rise above the water.
Absolutely.
To go transition to being an entrepreneur, but don't give up. There are gonna be times where late at night you're working and you want to go to sleep, but you can't go to sleep.
Right.
Or the next thing that you thought was gonna work didn't work, or you went in front of an audience to pitch something and it didn't come through like you thought it was gonna do. Sometimes you have to keep on pushing through. Another thing to kind of tell them is, as an entrepreneur, you're not going to be able to do everything yourself. It took a long time for me to learn that lesson because it's your baby, right? Your business is your baby, and when you bring other people into the fold, it takes them a while to realize the fact that this is a bigger dream than them. Right. It's a bigger dream than you, even as the CEO of the organization, right? But being able to bring that team in and adopt those ways, right, is something that's solid, right? Hire the right team is another big thing for those out there. When you do want to start your company, make sure you take time. Don't rush to hire the right team. Take time to hire the right team, so that way those that want to get on the bus are the right ones that are supposed to get on the bus with you. And of course, lastly, I would say those that are jumping out into that particular challenge, if you will, is be able to accept constructive criticism from those around you.
It's a good one.
Garner that information and take that and transform that into a positive for your company. You know what I mean? Or a positive for whatever service you want to start or whatever product you want to start. Take that constructive criticism, study it, ask your consumers questions and figure out what's in their minds, because what's in their minds is probably what's in thousands of other minds. So take those information pieces and make your business better.
Right. So I have one final question, but it's not really a question, it's more of a game.
Okay.
So I have these 5 verbs that I'm going to say to you.
Okay.
And then you come back at me and you put out an adverb. So basically the point is for me and other people watching this video to sort of get inside of Jay's head and understand how you think or what makes you tick. Okay. So for instance, if somebody asked me do, I would say well. So do well.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Plan.
Ahead.
Work.
Hard.
Think.
Deep.
Dream.
I want to say far. Dream vastly.
Play.
Hard as well.
All right. Thank you, Jay, for this interview. It's been great.